Good morning from beautiful downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire. All right, you evil phone, be quiet. Let's check all our batteries. Good. What a week pulling weeds. Oh, man, let me show you. Where is it? Now, will YouTube allow me to share this photo? Let's see. No. It won't allow me to share a photo on my screen. I have to go to Facebook and show you that. Okay. Let's hope my internet connection holds up. Odds of Verizon and YouTube. What the heck? Oh, never mind. They're here. First, this one. This was when I did a bunch of pulling weeds. And let's go up to the one after a nice man with a weed whacker helped finish the path. He also did some whacking in other parts of my yard. Okay, let's wow. And I've done more pulling weeds when they're close to the cultivated plants or in among them. I have to go in and pull them out by hand. I think it was 72. It might have been early 73. Mike Hodel had this radio show on NPR, National Public Radio, called Hour 25. And at the time, my fiance, Philip K. Dick, was a guest. And Mike Hodel began the interview by asking the audience whether they could guess who the guest was. He didn't name him right away. So he asked Phil a few questions, and Phil said that the universe was being taken over by crabgrass and the telephone company. And somebody called in and said, oh, that must be Philip K. Dick. Now, I didn't know really anything about Phil's career at the time. I was amazed. Well, in my yard, the weeds are taking over the universe. Oh, thought I saw someone outside the window, but it was a cat inside the window. Wow. Anyway, here we are. Weeds and more weeds. It's getting really down to the wire. As the weeds start to turn brown, they become a fire hazard. Oh, well. Anyway, happy Thursday morning. I'm really kind of tired because the cats were being raucous and not letting me sleep. The worst one was Smokey. She sat on my head, and that is, it really, I can't let her do that. I have to wake up and either move my head or move her, because a 10-pound cat on your head while you're sleeping can wreck your neck. I sleep elevated, reclined but not flat. Doctor's orders, and I agree. Um, I breathe better, and it's easier to get up when I'm not lying flat. When I was sleeping on the bed, I would have to roll out of it, and so I had it close to the floor so I wouldn't fall and bonk my head. But I'd have to roll out of the bed and then use the hands on the dresser to pull myself up. My back is better than that now. It's I've improved a lot, but it began when I broke my leg, which I think was 2010. It was the lower leg between the knee and the ankle. I cracked the, I don't know, I guess shin bone. I don't know, one of the bones there. There's two. And then it was really bad after I broke my hip, but by then I was using the recliner chair, and I can't put the footrest down. The crank the handle bit doesn't work. It's broken, and I can't push it down with my feet. I'm not that strong. Especially with the broken hip, I had the use of only one foot. So I'd go kind of on an angle and get myself up beside the footrest, not on it. Anyway, nowadays, nothing more is broken. I'm doing well. But I keep thinking about Phil when I'm pulling weeds because of that crabgrass comment. I think he was kind of right about the telephone company. It was bad enough when the telephone was bolted to the wall in the kitchen. Now we carry it with us everywhere, and it knows where we are, when we're there, when we leave the house, when we go home, what stores we shop at. And now even the grocery store sends me a receipt by email. And by the way, Verizon, which is my carrier, I'm not sponsored. I don't make recommendations, but that's what I use. They used to be Ma Bell telephone. If you're old enough to remember when it was called Ma Bell, M-A like mother, Ma. Good morning, Witta. Welcome in. Well, when I was growing up, another competitor came along, so you could have Bell telephone or, oh, wait a minute. No, you could have the competitor to Bell telephone. I've forgotten the name of it. Or Pacific Bell. And overall, Pacific Bell was better than the other one. Most of Los Angeles was the other company? Um, Darn, I don't remember. But it was Pacific Bell was more reliable and didn't cost as much. Anyway, um, let's see if Google will help me out here. Major phone companies 1960s. AT. They're still around, by the way. American Telephone and Telegraph. But then there was the time when I bought this cool little phone because it was cheap. You had to buy your phone from the phone company. Before that, or actually they kind of overlapped, you had to lease your phone from the phone company, and every month you paid a fee for having a phone in your house. But they owned it. If you moved, they said, don't take it with you. We'll give you a new one at the new place. Oh, Witta remembers party lines. Yeah. I think I have a few lurkers today. That's okay. If you don't want to chat, that's fine. Anyway, the darn thing didn't work, and I wasn't the only one. There was a big scandal about it. And the thing is, yeah, you could return it, but you still needed a phone. And they didn't have anything. The cheapest one they had, they'd give you credit for the one you turned in, but the cheapest one they had was cost twice as much. Witta says in where she grew up, one of the phones was a huge box with a single black speaker and no dial. Yeah, that must have been the one where you spoke to the operator, and the operator took the number down and connected you. And that was a long time ago. Well, we had a party line when I was very young. One time when I was home alone, and man, that was breaking the law. I was only about 5 or 6 years old. I picked up the phone because I wanted to call Mom. She was at work at a record store that my parents owned, and which went bankrupt, by the way. Um, and I heard these two women talking, and they were gossiping. Well, I didn't understand, but one of them heard me breathing and ordered me to hang up because it was a party line. So I hung up. uh, Weird. The way they worked it in our neighborhood was that there would be 3 houses on one phone line. So if you needed to call someone, especially in an emergency, you had to ask them to hang up if they were on the phone. Anyway, yeah, now the phone goes with you, assuming there's Wi-Fi or data coming from a cell tower that can reach your phone. There are numerous spots on this mountain where you get no signal. And yet they're taking out the call boxes on the highway, even though they know that there are spots where your cell phone doesn't work. Oh, yeah. The phone did ring different for each home. But um, somehow our phone company managed, back then, yeah, managed to make it not ring if it wasn't for you. But then they did away with party lines. So that new innovation really didn't last long. Oh, yeah, we could get a private number if we paid every month for it. Ice Screaming Crane, welcome in. Yeah, they really should leave some call boxes. What if your cell phone's battery is dead, or you can't get a signal, or you lost your phone, or you never had one? There still are a few people who don't have cell phones. Oh, yesterday, just on the spur of the moment, a friend stopped by and asked me if I wanted to go to Running Springs because she was delivering a care package to a mutual friend. So I went along, and we we stopped by, gave him the care package, and talked for a bit. And then we went to see where my extended family's cabin used to be in Running Springs, in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California. It's higher on the mountain than Lake Arrowhead, but slightly lower than Big Bear. And yes, there are ski resorts, but it's almost June, so no skiing right now. Well, anyway, we went and looked, and sure enough, that cabin is gone. You see, we had the old fire in 2003, and it was on our minds because the arsonist just got found guilty for setting the fire. "22 years ago." Maybe it was the other fire. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's old news. The guy who got convicted set a fire last year. The line fire. Man, old age and early mornings don't agree with me. The line fire last year was set on purpose by a man from Norco. Anyway, Norco is short for North Corona. There's a lot of horse owners in Norco, so they split off from Corona, which is more industrial and residential, not a horse place. So Norco has a unique character. And I personally know a guy who got arrested for drunk riding. He was riding his horse while drunk. And he said, "Oh, come on," to the officer. "My horse knows the way home. I'm just sitting here. I'm not driving." It didn't work. But you see, it endangers the horse. Now, in Amish country, sometimes the guy is too drunk to drive home, gets in the buggy, and just tells the horse, "Go home," and the horse does. I don't think they get in as much trouble as someone sitting in the saddle. Well, hi, Brent. Welcome in. I don't think I've seen you before. Oh, would have found the talk with Mike Hodel on the internet. There were two interviews with Mike Hodel. Have I made stories? I have books on Amazon. The Kindle books are either cheap or free. The paperbacks are cheap. I actually played Dungeons and Dragons once with my son. He had the box with the board and all the literature and dice and so forth. But, once he got a group of his friends around his age to play, he didn't want mom playing. Well, yeah. What I did was, back then, they had arcade games where you put quarters in the slot. And I played Dungeons and Dragons with strangers over the game. Different people would be on different machines, but you're playing together. It was fun, but I would run out of quarters. Yeah, I liked Dungeons and Dragons. My son was the, what are they, Dungeon Master. Try Baldur's Gate 3. It's on Steam. I'm not on Steam, but I'll check it out. All I play now is Words with Friends, and only because Scrabble disappeared. Scrabble was a good game, just words. Oh well. Yeah, I like word games. I'm a recovering English teacher. We now have a gamer in the chat. Makes me miss Ditch even more. Ditch was some kind of game creator. Yeah, hi. Moonchild, that's a great name. Sadly, Ditch is no longer with us. Died way too young. He was like 45 or something like that. Had a heart attack and died. Oh, yeah, Screaming Crane. Ditch was great. I enjoyed chatting with Ditch. Well, anyway, the gods of Verizon and YouTube are allowing me to talk today. Quite often I lose the connection and can't continue. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Oh, Tora needs to say hello. It's her job to make an appearance on every. She doesn't look too happy about it. Usually she sits up and smiles and kisses us with kitty kisses, squinting. Such a good little girl, Tora. You're so cute. Let's see if you can see Sweetie. She's black, so she doesn't show up too well, and she's got her back to us. She has a little white bib and white paws. I have to haul a bunch of furniture outside so I can get to things that need cleaning. Tora's a good kitty. Yes, she is. Good girl. Yeah, absolutely. The cats are the stars of the show. After all, it's their house. Wow. I am so tired of pulling weeds. I enjoy it, but I get tired and achy. So I'm really tired from pulling weeds, not tired of doing it. Now, this is what, oh, come on. What's his name? Oh, crap. I've forgotten. And I even met him on a tour of. Okay. What is his name? The guy who writes about the crooks in Venice, the bankster gangsters, and he writes about the Pyramid of Egypt and all sorts of stuff. I'm bad at names, but I should remember his name. Author, Venice. I'm not remembering the title. Babylon's Banksters. Okay, that's one of his books. Come on, guys, give me the author's name. Joseph P. Farrell. Here we go. Josephp Farrell. I think there's another L in his name. 2 L's on the end. Anyway, he calls these the cure for COVID or prevention. COVID prevention. These things. I think he had to quit smoking because of heart disease. I'm not sure. He might have gone back to smoking. He's written some awesome books. Mike Hodel was on late at night, I think once a week on NPR, National Public Radio. And he was at the studio in Los Angeles. And yeah, he interviewed all kinds of fringy people because that's what you do on a late night show. He was kind of an inspiration for Art Bell. His radio show was called, I put it in the description, which I can't see at the moment. Oh, Hour 25. HOUR 25. I think it started at midnight. And, 24 hours in a day. If you start at midnight, that's 25. Anyway, yeah. Phil started talking about the phone company and crabgrass taking over the universe. And Hodel had asked the listeners to guess who the guest was. He didn't name him. And someone called in and said, I think that's Philip K. Dick. And he was right. So that's how we got to talking about phones and Verizon and AT&T and Ma Bell. Oh, AT&T in the 60s, I just remembered it was called General Telephone. Come on, camera. Not that I like being on camera, but well, you're not alone, Witta. I never heard of Mike Hodel before Phil went on his show. I used to listen to another show on NPR, National Public Radio, when they frequently interviewed, and I had the name a minute ago, the mushroom guy, the blue mushroom guy, and ayahuasca and all that, who tragically died. His brother's still around. And he had this timeline computer program. I don't know how to spell ayahuasca, but he was actually a scientist. Common side effects. Terence McKenna. Terrence McKenna. His brother's still around. And I closed the window too soon. Dennis McKenna is his brother. As far as I know, still living. Anyway, this show on National Public Radio kept me up at night in the 90s, having Terence McKenna on. Art Bell had him on too. He was talking about little machine creatures that would show up when he smoked ayahuasca legally in South America in these tents with the medicine men, whatever they call them. And such. That would appear when he was high. By the way, if you eat a blue mushroom, don't look in the mirror. I did that. Oh, Lord. Never look in the mirror. Because you're hallucinating. And you'll see things that terrify you, and you might not remember that you ate a blue mushroom. Oh, wow. I ate the blue mushroom about 30 years ago. I think there's a statute of limitation. Let's see, I smoked pot when I was 16, and now I'm about to be 71 next month. By the way, it isn't that cold, but my hair is still a mess. I haven't brushed it this morning. Oh, I keep forgetting the screen is not a mirror, so it seems backward to me. Wow. What's up with these TikTok videos where everything's reversed? So if they have little captions, they're backwards, and the images are backward. What's that all about? It's annoying. Gosh. For some reason, this side always has longer, thicker hair than the other side. Once in a while, I have to snip the end of this so it isn't like 6 inches longer than the other side. Yeah, I'm not on TikTok either. I found it on my phone pre-installed and I uninstalled it. But what happens is they share their videos on YouTube Shorts. So I see them on the YouTube channel. Screaming Crane knew a lad with long hair and it was shorter on one side, but he didn't cut it that way. A black hole of time in reference to what? TikTok? I don't know. It's weird. Oh boy, I enjoy chatting with you guys. I really do. I'm afraid to mention current events because that's what usually causes the stream to go down. Oh, shorts. Yeah, I don't like shorts. But sometimes when I record something on my phone, the phone insists on turning it into a short. If it is short, I have no choice. If it's longer, it keeps offering to edit it down to a short. I'm like, no, I don't like shorts. So I do have some shorts up on YouTube, but not by choice. Let's see, I got my tea, coffee, and water. I start every morning with water and I sip it. I don't glug it. Glugging is bad in the morning, at least. I think it's always bad. That's funny, Brent. Shorts can be good in the summer. Oh, come on. That's a good one. And as a recovering English teacher, I appreciate it. Oh man, am I messed up. And I get to go out and pull more weeds. I found that if I quit telling myself I have to do this, and I tell myself I get to do this, I have a better attitude. Good morning, Jason. You didn't get notified, huh? Well, that's why I was all by my lonesome for the first 5 minutes. Oh well. Yeah, there's always the replay. We're about 40 minutes in. Welcome in, everybody, in case I missed someone. Well, I did send a phone message to Witta and to Freeman on the messenger thing. Oh well. It isn't a big deal. My show is not earth shattering. I did hear that the Orange Man pardoned some rapper that I never heard of. Not because he was innocent, but because, and one, his sentence was way too long for what he was convicted of, and two, he's reformed. And his attorney sent an application for a pardon to the president, and he got the pardon. that rapper happens to be black, and his rap music, if you can call it that, I call it something poetry, beat poetry. Remember beatniks around 1960? They were the rabble rousers of their time, opposition to authority. Well, anyway, his lyrics were kind of like, I wouldn't want to hear those words. And they included saying how bad Trump was, and he got a pardon. More car trouble, Jason, I'm sorry. Water pump, that's important, especially in Arizona. You got to keep that engine cool. Jason drives for Uber, so the car's very important. Well, if I don't come on Thursday mornings, people start messaging me. Are you going live today? Or if I'm late? Yeah, Phil lived in a boarding house where most of his housemates were poets. I think he was just 18, and but he said his mother kept telling him he'd end up, let's see, dead, gay, and in prison if he left home and got his own place. Uh, okay, it didn't work out that way. But he knew some very important poets. I wouldn't say they're famous because I had never heard of them. Yeah, he didn't know Burroughs, Ginsberg, and Kerouac, but he knew. Yeah, I've forgotten names again. He knew some fairly well-known poets, at least well-known in Berkeley, California. Um, had one of their books, and it was signed. Someone snatched it when he died. He probably met Burroughs, but that doesn't mean he knew him. He just met him. He hung around in circles where you would meet famous people at gatherings, but that didn't make you friends. It didn't mean you kept in touch. It just meant you met them. I think Allen Ginsberg might have been the poet I saw. I'm terrible at names, but I think he's the guy. Maybe not. I saw some famous poet at a college appearance. He was reading his poetry. Now, ordinarily, students could attend a presentation like that for $5. But because of his huge fee, it was $15. And I was polite. I stayed till the intermission, but after intermission, I did not come back. It was just strings of the F word over and over, and he called it poetry. Oh, I can probably track down his name. Poet F word Cussing. Cursing, okay. No. No. I can't remember the name of the poem, and if I could remember the title. I could get the author's name. It was something like Boom or Crash or. Anyway, I was so disappointed because it really was just a string of cuss words. All right, hang on. I have to open the door so the cats can go out and play. They're play fighting in the house and driving me crazy and knocking things down and breaking things. Come on, you guys, time to go out and play. Come on. Let's get the door open for you, cats. There you go. Go and play. If they beat each other up outside where it doesn't bother me, that's fine. Oh, yeah, say wild stuff in chat. Yeah, I came back to see what you guys are doing while I'm away. Oh, well, we're getting close to an hour and I have weeds to pull. It wasn't Ginsburg, I don't think. Oh, there's lots of famous poets, including Maggie Smith. Huh, she's a real person who just used curse words. Who was a famously bad poet? No, never heard of William McGonagall. Rebellious poet. Forget it. It'll come to me when it's no longer relevant. I think his first name was Allen, but not Ginsburg. Let's see. Oh, come on. Nope. This is going to drive me crazy all day. It was Allen Ginsberg. His famous poem was called Howl. That's it. Leading figure of the Beat generation. His revolutionary poem Howl. 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 He was old then, really old. And he just sat on a chair in the center of the stage and started reading all these nasty words. Are bad. Boy, are they bad. Oh, anyway, students paid $15 to hear that crap. and non-students paid $30. And most of us left at intermission and never came back. This would be around 1988 or 9. I couldn't believe my ears. He was worse than Harlan Ellison. And Harlan Ellison was always cussing and verbally attacking the audience. Wow, Witta has a good post. Somewhere out there is a film of Hunter Thompson with his son in a car and Allen Ginsberg yelling, "Krishna, Krishna, Krishna," while dancing, all surrounded by Hell's Angels and hippies, and a cop asking, "Is that a kid?" And it was Hunter Thompson's son. That's a cool story. Wish I had that video. These are all great names from the past, so if you're under 60, you might or might not have heard of them depending on the circles you run in. Oh, wow. Tea. I don't mind if my tea gets cold. You know, it starts out hot and gets cold, but I cannot stomach iced tea that starts out cold. Yeah, I have coffee. Both cups are red today, but that's the tea with a Christmas tree and, I'm sorry, an ornament. And this is the coffee with the tree. And of course, the Nut Man of Nashville has my water. My green coffee mugs are waiting to be washed. Oh, I've never tried Arizona green tea. My son used to drink it. I just don't like the idea of tea that starts out cold. We used to drink sun tea. When I was a teenager, we had this big glass pitcher and we'd fill it with water and tea bag. Well, it wasn't filled with tea bags. We'd put in some tea bags and just let it sit in the sun for a while. That was interesting. It was warm, but usually not super hot. Screaming Crane quit drinking pop. Some people call it soda, some call it pop. I call it soda pop. So there's no confusion, and because that's what I've always called it. So you quit drinking that because green tea feels better? Yeah. Soda pop, especially now, has so much sugar and so much phosphoric acid that it can really upset your tummy. But I do drink soda pop once in a while. Like I'll have a root beer float. Yeah, the acid is way too much. I'll have a root beer float, or I just want a Sprite or 7 Up or, Nesbit orange soda. I never did like grape knee high, even though Radar on MASH loved it. I don't really go for the grape sodas at all. I like Nesbit and Crush. They're almost the same thing. I think Nesbit's a little less sugar or something. It just tastes better to me. And back when, very rarely, but once in a while, I'd be actually ill, like when I had the measles. uh, Mom would say, I'm going to the grocery store. I'll get you anything you want, so name one thing. And I always said, strawberry Nesbit, which was a soda pop. Anyway, and she'd say, Are you sure you want that when you're sick? Don't you want 7 Up or Squirt? Squirt, I'm not sure what it is now. It was grapefruit juice with some sugar and bubbles. I liked that, but not when I was sick. I wanted strawberry Nesbit. When I was younger, like around 10, I would ask for a gallon of bottled water because the tap water in Culver City, a little suburb of Los Angeles, it was awful. And yes, we drank it. We drank it from the garden hose, too. Actually, after it had been running to sprinkle the lawn for a while, the water was not quite as bad. But man, they had bad water. And somewhere along the line, they switched their sources of water and it got a lot better. I think they also processed it more to get the gunk out of it. Oh well, that takes me back. That's when we lived in a super haunted house. It was a house where Mom had lived as a teenager with her parents. And it had that vibe from her experiences, and she was not a happy person. So the house had her demons. I had a photo once. I don't think I have it anymore. But when my aunt, who is a couple years younger than my mom, Aunt Bernie got, I know it's aunt, but in California we say aunt. Uh, Bernice got married. They, um, there was rationing, but they managed to make a wedding cake and set it on the table in the dining room of that house. And I had a photo of that. I don't think I have it anymore. Well, this house was demon haunted, not just ghosts. I started to describe one of the demons to my older and smarter brother, and he cut me off and finished the description because he had seen it too. That was more scary than the fact that I saw it. Generation X, I'm not sure what years that applies to. I was born in 1954. At the time, it was considered the tail end of the baby boom, but now apparently, if you were born in 1960 or earlier, you're still baby boom. Oh, yeah. Our parents were like, What are you doing in the house? Go out and play. Yeah, and they didn't like it if we went in their kitchen looking for something to eat. Well, when my son was growing up, number one rule is if you want dessert now and dinner later, go for it. Never made a big deal about sugar, and he never got that craving that children get when they're deprived and told sugar is bad, you can't have it. So he actually preferred to avoid dessert and just have dinner by the time he was a teenager. And yeah, if you're hungry, there's the refrigerator, there's the pantry, check it out. One of the funniest things was when I made this can of bean with bacon soup. We were poor and I was tired from working and so forth and raising a boy, a very active boy. So I got this can of bean with bacon soup and I heated it on the stove and put out the two bowls and sat down. And my son comes in for lunch and says, I don't like that. And of course, he had never tried it. I didn't say a word. Well, he sat down and tried a bite and ate it all and said, Can I have some more? It was like his first reaction to meatloaf. This has too many onions. 5 minutes later, can I have some more? Well, Mom did put too many onions in it. It was when she had 4 kids to feed, it was a money saver. Less meat if you have more onions. Her meatloaf was like oatmeal and onions with some meat in it and a can of tomatoes with ketchup on top, of course. Yeah, Mom still acted like there was rationing and depression and so forth. Jason, pinching pennies, scraping and saving, but then she'd go out and party with the money she saved. Hi, Jimmy, Ken. I'm about to sign off. I've been on for over an hour. Sorry, I have to go pull weeds. Let's see. Well, welcome in anyway. We're just talking about food and parents and kids. Okay, so it was Allen Ginsberg who I saw at an appearance at my college. He read his poem Howl, Howl, and most of the audience, including me, left at intermission and never came back. It was that bad. You just string a bunch of cuss words together and call it a poem. I guess you can get away with that when you're famous. But there was much better beat poetry. You know, when Dobie Gillis was on the TV every week. A story about a young man who's going to UCLA and his parents run a store. And he has this friend, Maynard G. Krebs, who is a beatnik. And that actor later played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island. Don't ask me his name, I don't remember. I'm terrible with names. Uh-oh. Deacon's gonna post something because I'm ending the show. You know, if I keep the window open when I end the stream, a few posts still come in. Oh, yeah, we talked about Philip K. Dick on Mike Hodel, hour 25. I think it was 72, but it could have been early 73. I know it was before my son was born, and that was July of 73. But I don't remember being super pregnant at the time, so couldn't have been past February or March of 73. Just don't remember for sure. You know, I didn't write things down like dates and times and stuff. I should have written down people's names. It took me forever to remember some of the people who remembered meeting me because they met me only once. And with Phil, they were mostly there to see Phil. So I just didn't hear their names very much. But when I see them, if they haven't aged too badly, I tend to recognize them. Well, anyway, we're headed out the door to pull weeds, except for Tora, who's still taking her nap. She loves to sit on my blankies. Mom's blankets are the best. So let's call it a day, and I'll see you next time. And thank you all for coming in. Well, Deacon can put it in the comments if he isn't ready to do it now. Yeah, Tora's the star of the show. Okay, guys. Oh, I gotta type. Forgot. Well, I'm tired from pulling weeds every day. Thank you all, and have a wonderful day. Oops. Have doesn't belong with B, it belongs with A. It begins. Thank you all. I love having chats with you guys. Bye.